I think one thing that I've always aspired to kind of bring back is, what was the gym back in, ancient Greece? It was a chance for people to be with each other, focus on the human body, connect with other like-minded individuals. But what's interesting is that we nowadays have personal trainers, right? Before, they had personal philosophers. So they would hire a philosopher to just spend like an hour with, so they can talk about stuff.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so nowadays I think we maybe have a responsibility, or maybe to tie it back to before, we teach people about their human body. Yeah. But instead of psychology, maybe philosophy. Yeah. Maybe talk about ideas that are worth diving into, things that spark creativity, maybe things that can help influence the psychology. Yeah. I feel like philosophy to me can be held more optimistically than psychology.
That's true. That's actually very true.
Psychology is learning about the brain and how it operates and how it works within, but philosophy about the things outside, the ideas that could potentially change your mindset, could change just your vision of things, your biases on certain things. It really opens the mind to a different way of thinking. So perception and perspective.
That's huge. Those two things are huge. Perception and perspective. Like, people don't have that these days, but that's definitely another conversation in itself. Okay, that was good. Sweet. So, you know what? Let's go into some crazy training stories. I want to hear one of those. You have to have one. Crazy. And when I mean crazy, I mean like...
What do you mean by that?
Like, okay, so, for instance, like
me training a client or my own?
No, like you training a client. So let's say you're training a client and they were just totally not agreeing with anything you were saying. They didn't want to do things, or they're just a client that cancels all the time, but like either that, or like a crazy time that you had to train someone, or like something funny that you had to do in order to train someone. Anything in those kind of like...
I'm a pretty mind, body, spirit kind of guy. Yeah. So I would say, just in my defense, I don't let it get to that point.
Yeah.
Or that crazy.
Okay.
But there's been moments, and I'm sure people feel the same way, when you have a client that's not ready, and they're either running late, and then they come and they're all like, "Oh my God, I'm here!"
Yeah.
And they're still not settled down, and they're just not fit for the session.
Yeah.
Like, you got to come ready, because you've invested time for yourself to bring either your A game, or this is me time.
Yeah.
And why? Why abuse it? Why like not make the most of it? And so I've had clients that have shown up either late or just not ready, not prepared, going drinking from last night, and they come and they're like, "Oh, I want to sweat it out."
So no verbal abuse, nothing like ever like anything like happened to that degree.
No,
nothing.
and I've had, and when those moments happen, I just call it a day, and I say,
it's just like kind of done.
Yeah, you know what? These last 10 minutes, you're not here.
Yeah.
I need you to be here.
Yeah.
Your heart may be into it, but if you're not here and you're not ready for this, let's not waste each other's time. It's better that you can just go home.
Okay. So it sounds like you definitely have had a conversation like that before.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. You got to be stern with that, because you don't want to waste your time.
Yeah.
You don't want them to waste their time.
Yeah.
Nor do you want them to hurt themselves when they're not ready for the programming that you have designed for them.
That's going to be huge for sure. That's going to be huge.
Kind of a boring, not really crazy. I've had like the puke.
Yeah.
The mid session puke.
Yeah.
And
probably a lot of times.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But usually it's not necessarily because I drive them so hard.
Yeah, they just,
or the demand. It's just because they don't know their boundaries, and they want to compare to their need. The balance of the ratio of want and need is not there. Their body awareness, their motor control.
Yeah.
It's just not checked in.
Yeah.
So that's where shit hits the fan.
Have you ever had anyone anyone injured themselves in a session before, like that was like really bad or anything like that? But not to say that like it happened because you did it, but like let's say they were just like on the treadmill and then just slipped by accident. You know what I mean? Like
in non-personal training, but in group classes, you know, there's moments where some people have like either tweaked an ankle because equipment was not set up properly.
Okay.
And you just triage.
Yeah.
You learn how to keep your cool. Yeah. And I think that's the best thing is I like those situations. Not to the degree that people are going to hurt themselves.
Yeah.
But I like to see how I am under stress.
Yeah.
Or under a really unconventional, almost SOS emergency situation.
Mm-hmm.
How do I act as someone who can either show leadership in a situation that's just so surprising, shocking? Because usually we're so in the routine and everything's so automatic and everything's so like comfortable and luxurious, and I've set it up here, I set it up there, they're gonna do this. I can basically predict the entire hour. But when something goes wrong, you can't just let routine take it away. No. You have to be able to think on your feet. You have to improv. You have to show leadership, responsibility. Most people either, you know, under those times of stress, you know, they fight the situation and they fight other people, or they freeze, or they just fly away. The 3 Fs. Under stress. Flight, fight, and freeze. And I've had moments of that, but the more you get into those situations, the more practice the more time you spend in those situations, the more you can alter how you can influence the people around you. So,
and I feel like that's very
like that stuff.
Yeah, I think it's very important, and I think that applies to everyday life as well, right? Because you can apply it to everyday life, and because you have erratic people, or you have people, you be in situations where it's confrontational, and to be able to dissect it, not only be able to dissect it, but then be able to then apply your knowledge to it, or to like be able to kind of figure out how you're able to kind of go through that confrontation with either a superior figure or someone that you're close with, like your peer or whoever, right? Because those confrontations, they do happen, and people oftentimes avoid them or just don't know what to do, right? Don't know what to necessarily say. So I think the
point of the gym and like training with us is how do we make them better in the gym for out there? We lose sight of, okay, we're not just operating here within here and how to maximize to the test or to the gym or to the deadlift so that next week come back again. It's like, how do we take the deadlift and apply it to the outside world when you least expect, you know, a deadlift of a suitcase that you don't pull your back out. Or it's like, sometimes I think of, you know, doctors when someone has a heart attack and they have to perform CPR, you know, like sometimes they freeze and they don't jump in, but that's what they're trained for. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't apply themselves to when it really matters.
For sure.
Because when you're training in a session, everything's just so, again, luxurious. It's planned out. It's a luxury too, right?
It is.
Those who can afford it. So I just find there's that the importance of function and practicality and applying it to real life. Utilitarian mindset. That's the philosophy.
Yeah, I think it's very important.